Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Halftime with K Bizzy. And do we ever have another awesome guest to bring to you guys today? For today's episode, we have daps, the head coach for NRG, joining us today. We talk about the Budapest Major and being a stand-in for nitr0 while he was expecting the birth of his child. We talk about just NA region as a whole, and we just talk about a little bit about daps' history and how he got started playing Counter-Strike and playing his first Counter-Strike LAN in a fucking church, which is crazy. I don't know how many people have had that experience, but it's a great episode, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. If you are new to the channel, make sure you check the links in the description for my main channel, where I post my own CS content, my Twitch channel, where I'm live usually on the weekends, and don't forget to check out daps and NRG's, Twitters down in the description. On Etsy, we have some new CS-related merchandise. If you'd like to purchase it, it is available and shipping out quick. So get there while you can. We also got some mouse pads up there. Limited run. When they're gone, they'll never restock. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to dive into today's episode, and we will catch you guys on the outro. Hey, how's it going, man?
Going well. How are you?
Going good, man. Dude, I gotta say thank you again for the time, man. I really appreciate it. I know, I don't know, I'm just feel super fortunate to be able to talk to some of the people that I have on, and I know you probably got a bunch of stuff going on with the team and everything, so for you to lend the time, I appreciate it.
No, it's no worries.
Before we get into things, though, I don't know how much you can say about it, but we got a little update yesterday around 4:50 p.m. about Grim from Passion UA potentially joining NRG. Is that on the table to talk about, or probably not yet?
I don't care. I mean, yeah, we cut George and poached Grim.
All
And it
right.
was mainly like I think Grim was just I talked to Grim like months ago. And I think he just sort of Passion's like a team that pretty much lives in Europe, so that was sort of the main reason that he preferred to be on our team, because like even though we boot camp in Europe, we're not living in Europe ever, so
Yeah, for sure. Because you guys are headquartered in Texas, I think it is, right?
no, all of Energy's offices are in LA.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All
But
right,
like
cool.
some of the players did live in Texas for a bit, but
Okay, I
yeah, we don't
gotcha.
really have like a CS headquarters. It's mainly just like the Valorant team in LA.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, well, that's interesting. Yeah, I just figured I'd ask about that. I never like to pry about stuff that might not be, you know, allowed. Like, if we can't talk about it, I don't want to stir up any drama or anything like that. I just figured I'd ask, but that's exciting, dude. Grim coming back to NA where he belongs.
Yeah. I mean, it's all like public anyways, so I don't really care.
Oh, okay,
It's not like official, but it's like
advanced
pretty obvious at
talks.
this point.
Yeah. Well, with that aside, I always kind of like to start the podcast off the same. The most important question with anybody that comes on is like, how did you get into Counter-Strike? How did you find this in your life?
I didn't really play like PC games too much growing up. I played like N64 and stuff, like GameCube, like games like Metal Gear Solid and like Super Smash Bros. And things like that. Like I didn't really play PC games at all, and then my uncle got me into like Civ 3, I think it was, into
Okay.
like early Age of Empires, and that was like 2005, I think. And then I love those games still, but I think it was like, I don't know when the Orange Box came out, but I remember I played like TF2 and Source, and then yeah, I didn't really like find it intentionally. It's more so like I found PC gaming, and then I like found those games eventually.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people kind of start like when you come to PC, I feel like a lot of the time people come to games like Team Fortress or, Half-Life especially. Like there's some of the early pioneers of like what launched PC gaming to the next level.
Yeah.
For sure. So another thing I always love to hear about, because I got into PC gaming. I think I was 16 when I got my first PC, so I was really late to the party. So I never really got to experience like a local LAN scene or like local tournaments and stuff like that. That was all kind of foreign to me. I don't know if we had them here I live just a little bit east of Toronto. So I'm not sure what the scene was really like here. If we had one, I feel like it probably would have been more toward the city. But I always love hearing like land stories and stuff from other people that probably have a bit more of an involvement in that kind of scene. Did you have any type of involvement with that or
Yeah, I'd say like the Canadian scene itself was probably bigger in like Source and 1.6. Like I played Source for a long time, like on teams. Like I played competitively probably since like 2006. Not like at a high level, obviously at the start, but um I'd say like LAN ETSs were like the gold standard in NA back then. Like especially for Source, at least that's what it seemed like. And then the ESEA LAN that they hosted in Texas was usually like the other big LAN, but that was pretty much it from like the big LANs from what I remember. But I mean, at least what I can say from experience was like my first LAN was in Toronto inside a church that
what?
had like no area. It was like a abandoned church. Like it was a church that like someone bought where they could like host events.
That's insane.
Like they would rent it out to like DJs and stuff too and like parties. Like it wasn't like a church anymore, you know?
Holy
But the
shit.
building was still a church building. But it was like it was middle of summer, no air conditioning,
Oh fuck.
pretty brutal. I mean, I went with like I forget my team exactly, but I know it was like McNutty and Glorins, and then like I forget who. But yeah, I mean that was like the first event I went to. I think came second place or something. Lost to like Emode's team in the final. Um, but yeah, overall like then there was like another land. Yeah, like the Toronto lands were like very tiny. Mainly Canadian people that were playing in them, and then some Americans would come up and drive up. But they weren't very big events. And then like LAN ETS, I went to one of those and won it, which was like my goal when I first started playing was like I didn't even really care about going pro. It was just like I think my first goal was like I just want to attend a LAN. That was literally it. Like I didn't even care about like going deep. Like I was going to school doing my second degree, so I was like didn't really care about going pro and there wasn't money in it either. Like I just did it cuz I loved it. Um but yeah. The Canadian scene, at least in CS:GO, is like I think it felt a bit smaller than it seemed like in Source, at least.
Yeah, and like I don't know, man. In Europe, it's just a different ball game. Like I want to do an episode one day where I don't know, just talking with someone who's involved with like hosting some of the smaller LAN events in Europe and stuff, and really just dig into like what makes European CS tournaments so much more like why is NA struggling so much? You know what I mean? Like there's only a couple like big quote unquote tournaments in NA. Like I don't know. I would just love to see the scene just grow one day.
I mean, I can like if I was to get into like at least what I've observed and at least what I know from like people I've talked to in the scene, like there's a lot of factors that affected NACS and it dates back to like CGS. So I'd say CGS, at least from my observation, when it like combined when 1.6 players came over to Source because there was actually money in it, and then CGS fell apart in what like 2ish years, I believe. That was like 2007ish, 2008, I believe. Um, my history's foggy on it, but like that's CGS is actually what got me interested in like the competitive part of CS. Like I remember there's this thing called like the XFX tour bus, and like I mean, stuff you probably don't know, but it's like a lot of like like Mo. I mean, you know who Mo is? Like
Yeah.
Mo is on like San Francisco Optics, and then like Clown, and like a lot of those like old school names in Source. It was like, I mean, the CGS in retrospect was a huge failure and like detrimental to the NA scene, obviously, but it was definitely like a cool thing regardless, especially for like people like me who didn't even like think competitive gaming was a real thing. or no knowledge of it. But that was like a huge boon to it because like at least from like the old pros I talked to, like once the CGS died, it didn't really seem like there was a pipeline to like make money anymore because it failed so fast. And then like a lot of the old pros who probably would have been like very helpful for the younger generation in the region just kind of quit and like moved on with their lives and went to like real jobs. So NA lost like a lot of the old school IGLs, a lot of like potential old school star players. Some people hung around, but overall, like I think just that kind of like decimated the scene a little bit. And then the other factor too is it's just more expensive to host events in NA. Like
Yeah.
if you're comparing hosting like Krakow that just happened, it's like the cost of that arena per day on a
Oh,
weekend compared to like Barclays Center when I went to ESL New York in like 2018 or whatever. It's like host a day at the Barclays Center is probably like 1.2 mil,
that's fucking
1.5 mil a
crazy.
day. Like, so that's like another factor where like NA events struggle because like you also have the visa issues for a lot of teams. You have the cost are like the big ones, and obviously the NA market is still like they spend the most. Like they're still the most like there's a lot of value still, but I think just people are having a hard time like making it work in this region, even though a lot of the money is here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get into like the gambling. Like it's a lot easier for like European teams to get like gambling sponsors and get money from it, whereas in the States it's like very restricted and you're not allowed to like get those types of sponsors. So then it's harder for NA teams to get money in some ways, but I know the US is like changing gambling laws over time and it's like becoming easier slowly, so maybe that'll change and it'll be easier in a few years for NA orgs to get like actual like good high paying sponsors.
For sure.
But like in Europe, for example, like Europe didn't really get decimated ever. Like the European scene has always been like the center of CS. They also had the benefit of ESL, which I believe was a German company, and they just hosted like pretty much everything in Europe. Everything just in Europe has been like stable. Like you even see like Taz is still a coach. Like Taz is still in the scene that he was playing since like CS existed,
Yep. Neo,
Like
another one.
NA doesn't have those figures.
Yeah.
Like even I'm like kind of new gen. Like I'm old now, I guess, or old school now, but it's like I played like slightly high level at the end of Source, but I never went to a Source LAN or anything. Like my career essentially started and go,
Yeah.
But like NA doesn't have like those, people who played in 2005 who could have like helped over the years.
Yeah.
Even myself, like I didn't get to like learn from anybody. Like, I talked to like Dazed at my first like pro LAN and I got like a couple IGL tips from him, you know. But like outside of that, like I didn't play with him. I didn't like play with any IGLs really where I like learned that much. And that, slowed my development and then that also slows the development of like all the other players that were coming up around my time, like started CS:GO is like a lot of us were just learning on our own pretty much and our own merit. And that's why if you look back at the start of CS:GO, it's like NA teams were getting absolutely destroyed for like the first however many years. Like iBuyPower was before they got banned was like the hope, but then every time they went to Europe, it wasn't like that great for them.
Yeah. It's a wake
And
up
then
call.
the team that did decent on land from memory was like the complexity like Cloud9 lineup with like Shroud, Sean Gares, like Hiko. Like they were the ones who like were the first in like Semphis. Like they were the first like NA team, at least from my memory, to like do decent in Europe. because they got top 4 at one of the majors, I think. I don't remember. It's so long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the main point though overall is like those are some of the bigger factors. Like costs a lot in NA to host events, so it's harder to like grow a scene, and then um, also like the salaries. I'd say the salaries in Europe are higher now, but at least for like most of NA's history, it's obviously in a lot of senses it costs a lot more to like to live in North America, right?
Yeah.
Compared to like if you're paying a Serbian team or you're paying a team in like Eastern Europe, like it's like 3,000 USD is not like livable in North America, but like 3,000 USD in some of the other countries in
Oh.
Europe, like that's a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
Like that's you're living for a while, like. And then like so even like Sweden, for example, I think it was like Pith that told me this a long time ago. Like in Sweden, if you just like prove you're looking for a job, they give you like money per month, like 1 to 2 grand a month or something. Like
What?
I don't know, like at least just like in those Scandinavian countries or the countries that have like a lot of social benefits, like
Wow.
the main point is that like in a lot of these European countries, it's like you're either getting a lot of support from the government to like pursue your goal without having to find a real job, or you're just living in a country where it doesn't cost that much to live if you're even if you're making like $500 a month US or $1,000 a month US, which was like the first salary I got was like that much. But in Canada, you can't live off $1,000 a month.
God, no. You can't
but
even find a
but
single bedroom apartment for that. Like,
yeah, so it's like there's so many factors, and then like I mean, obviously we're just speaking about NA here, but it's like every other region in the world, like other than Europe, faces these issues. Like, you know, Australia is not cheap either, and then
no.
they're also like in the middle of nowhere, and then it's like that scene will probably never be big ever. It's just the unfortunate reality of like location and you know economics. Like I don't know that much about Australia to be fair. I don't know how like socialist it used to be like 10 years ago or like how many social programs they have, but you get the point. It's
Yeah.
just at least those are the factors. I mean, it's a lot of factors, but that's at least from my POV why Europe succeeded so well, for
Absolutely.
sure, over the other regions.
So typically I like to cover the guest history, but today I kind of wanted to kind of talk about NRG and things that have been happening because you guys have been kicking ass big time in the past couple years, especially the past year. Um like the team development ranking on HLTV, when I was looking at it, it hit a point where it just shot straight up to the moon. Um NRG has been one of the only teams that have been repping NA and making like a lot of, just carrying the torch and holding it high for our region and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of curious what kind of like changes you guys have been making to keep, going in that upward trajectory.
Yeah, I'd say our results have been good this season, but it's definitely like it's been close. Like our season could have went very poorly at the start of the year. Like if we didn't win Miami, like if you really think about it in perspective, like I had to sub in for the major,
Hmm.
and then we beat NIP FaZe, and then we not only did we have to win some games with me as the major to make Krakow, but then we had to also win Miami. Like I think the VRS guy I follow, he put us at like a 5% chance to make Krakow.
Oh wow.
So it's like, and then that's not that. It was 5% only after we won some matches at the major with me playing, and I don't play anymore, obviously. So it's probably less than 5% chance before that, and then
Dude.
we had to win Miami. We won Miami with we didn't practice at all. We just went in and played. Obviously, all the teams didn't really practice, but um, then we went to the Flom land. Still had no practice. I don't think M80 really practiced either. So it's just kind of like a whatever result for me, honestly. Like it's just if both teams don't have practice, just whoever shows up that day individually at that
Yeah.
point. and they showed up individually that day. And then we had to skip last bounty due to like some personal reasons for a player on our team, which then affected our boot camp. And then we only had before Krakow, like throughout this whole year, we've only had like 5 days of scrims, like the whole year so far.
That's pretty brutal.
Um, it's brutal, but like in a way, it's sort of helped us focus on like a lot of the fundamentals more, also like people's attitudes, like staying mentally in it. Like it helped us focus on like some of the intangibles that I think get overlooked when you like are starting the year and you're trying to like go through all your playbook and things like that. Like we had to just focus on like the bare bones basic stuff, and in a way I think that almost was like better for us
Okay.
instead of like going into the year and like trying to go through like a huge deep playbook. Like we just played like super basic, and you know what I mean? It's just like super
Let you
super
focus
fortunate.
elsewhere.
But yeah, it's like I guess if I continue, it's like it was a very low chance to make Krakow at all, and then the 2 wins at Krakow. I mean, granted, we played B8 with a new player, and Astralis also made 2 changes, so that was fortunate for us. But like, if we didn't get those 2 wins at Krakow, we wouldn't have got all these invites we're getting now. So yeah, it's it's one of those things where like we definitely earned the results, but it's like you're kind of on like a knife's edge of like you're on that fine line between like success and failure. Like I'm not at the point where I'm like super comfortable yet with where we're at. Like I definitely think we are ranked higher than we should be,
Oh,
based on like yeah, I think so. Like I'm not saying that like we can't beat the teams around us. Obviously on a good day we can beat any of the teams around us. But our goal for this season is just to like make it so our baseline is like top 15 always, you
okay.
know, instead of like sneaking into top 15 and then instantly going back out, you know. So
For
our goal
sure.
is to like stabilize at this rank for this season, and then once we get to a point where I feel like we're stabilized in like top 15, top 12, then that's where the higher expectations come
For sure.
eventually.
But you guys are already making a great step in the right direction. I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, you just got to go take a look at HLTV, and that says everything that you need to know about the success and the progress you guys have been making, especially in the last year.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, I just want to take it step by step. Like we've been kind of slow building this team for a while. We've for the most part avoided like any significant buyouts. Like we've pretty much built this team, I don't want to say for free because obviously it still costs money, but we're not going out spending like 500K $1 million buyouts every season trying to like make it work. It's taken some time, but we built this up, and we just want to keep that like consistency going forward, and you know, keep working on it.
Absolutely. And you were mentioning the Budapest Major there for a minute, and I'm glad you said that because that was actually my next point that I wanted to bring up. Of course, nitr0 was expecting another, the birth of one of his children, and I know that you stated in an interview with HLTV that you were pugging, DMing, and practicing utility, but you were only really preparing for that for like 2 weeks. I think you said a couple weeks or something like that. That knowing all of that is absolutely crazy because this isn't just any tournament, like, this is a major to have to play for. So, can you tell me a little bit about transitioning from coaching to a player again and not being, like, fully prepared and, how that whole thing kinda worked? Because I think that's just absolutely, like, wild.
Um, you're speaking just about the Budapest Major, right?
Yes, right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, it's not too difficult. Like the thing, the thing you lose when you stop playing is like definitely do lose like some intuition and some feeling for the game in a way. Um, like my personal opinion is if it was CS:GO still and I was in the same position, I probably would have got destroyed.
Oh,
I
really?
think I think individually it is easier to like hop on CS2 and like mechanically play without playing for a long time. Whereas in CS:GO had like a higher skill ceiling for sure. Just with like the movement mattered more. It honestly felt like CS:GO was like a lot harder to just like if someone was like significantly better than you in CS:GO, like you would know
You feel
100%.
that, yeah.
Whereas in CS2, I honestly feel like CS2 coming out saved a lot of players' careers in a way. Like it's not as hard individually as CS:GO was, and I'm pretty sure most pros would agree with that. Which honestly and MR12 as well. MR12 like also kind of makes it more random. Like even when we beat NIP and FaZe at the major, it's like, I mean, it's MR12. Like you lose a pistol here, you know, like it's not as big of a feat as if it was MR15 and you were like upsetting a team, at least in my opinion. But
Okay.
in a way that makes like even, I mean, this is off topic a bit, but like it almost makes Vitality's era even more impressive because like I do feel like the game is a little bit more random than CS:GO. So the fact that Vitality's like found so much consistency in this game is like
Wild.
insane,
Like,
honestly.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. I hope that we
It's
see
very
an upset
impressive.
with them. I've said it a few times on the podcast so far. It's nothing personal against Vitality. I don't care what team it would be. I just hate seeing the same team winning everything over and over and over. I want to see like, let's see Furia win a major, you know what I mean? Like I want to see one of these other top 5 teams just come out on top and just upset Vitality. Like I'm so sick of Vitality grand finals. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore.
I mean, I don't the thing with Vitality is like they have like pretty much the perfect player in each role, and then Apex is a very good IGL, but also leader. I think that's like something that gets overlooked too. Like there's a lot of like good IGLs, but it's like Apex is also a good leader.
Yeah.
Like he can lead a team of men into battle type thing.
They're incredibly
Um,
talented, and that's just undeniable. You can't take that away from them. They're incredibly talented.
and they also just have like a good mix of personalities, it seems, from the outside. Obviously, I have no clue what it's like within the team, but
Yeah.
you know, Flames is like a he every time I haven't talked to Flames that much, but like in the past he always seems like a happy guy, always like wanting to make jokes and like good vibes, and Apex seems like that too. Zayu seems chill. Mezzy seems like a great teammate. They all say that as well. And then Rops is just like also a quiet, chill dude. Like you don't really have anyone in that team who's like super toxic, like killing the team from within, like
Yeah.
mega ego, like making
Apex will
other
talk a
people
bit of
feel like
shit, but
shit.
that's about it.
Yeah, it's just Apex isn't. It's like it's good to have ego, but like I doubt Apex is like in there making his team feel like shit and fucking like
No, no.
ruining their confidence or like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like that. So yeah, I don't know who's gonna beat Vitality or like dethrone them in a way, but
Yeah. But like
it'll probably have to be Donk with some type of team.
shit, maybe. But back to Budapest and everything, like, how did it feel? Because you had personally yourself, and I'm not taking anything away from anyone else on the team. I mean, like, you had some pretty standout moments, especially against FaZe, which, like, you guys delivering a loss to FaZe was like a massive upset for, FaZe to lose there. And, I know after that, it wasn't really so good for NRG, which we will dive into in a minute. But, like, in the moment, like, how does that make you feel as a coach transitioning into being a player again? So, I don't want to say last minute, but like kind of last minute, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still like practiced with the team like a week before or 2 weeks before. Like I scrimmed like every map twice. So I mean, the good thing about like CS and even just the map pool we played, it's like the maps I played was like I played like Overpass versus NIP and Dust 2 versus FaZe, I believe, in the wins we had. It's like the game hasn't changed that much. Like Dust 2 is Dust 2, man, and then like Overpass is Overpass. Like
Yeah.
the nade break, yes, it adds like some different variants to the game, but overall, like a lot of the macro and like importance of like what map control should be taken and stuff like that is the same as when I played actively. So I honestly didn't. I did think I would be more uncomfortable than I was calling, but it honestly wasn't like that challenging. It was more so that like I'd say the biggest hurdle for us at the major was since I didn't like practice with the team that much, I was like calling on the fly a lot, and
Okay.
that is difficult at times depending on the map or like if people aren't also like, you know, feeding me info or like, bouncing ideas back and forth with me, then like in some of the games we lost, like versus M80, it's like our mood and communication was significantly worse than the first day. So it's like if I'm calling and then having to like micro everyone, tell them exactly what to do in all the positions, and it's not efficient. It's not going to work. Whereas the first day, everyone was chipping in here and there. It was a good environment. I think just after we went up 2-0 the first day, I think people started getting like unrealistic expectations for some
Okay.
reason. It's like, oh shit, like we're up 2-0, like it's like let's go 9-0 and make the finals of the like, it's just it did kind of feel like it went from like, oh, we have no expectations, we're playing with our coach, to like, oh, we should be like winning now. And I think that like is why we started losing, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, CS in many ways is just it's mental chess, really. I mean, uh, I don't know, like there's always in the first group stage, especially for a major, there's a lot of like upsets that happen and stuff, but I don't know, man. I think that you guys looked great when you guys played NIP and FaZe. I thought you guys were gonna, come out on top and at least make it to stage 2, but it is what it is, and I think that you guys as a team with a stand-in coach being a player, I think you guys made a pretty good progress with, with what you had on your plate.
Yeah, yeah, it hasn't been bad. Like if I was to like attribute it to one thing, like I think we're very good at bouncing back. Like
Yeah.
I don't know the number, but it's like the amount of games we've been like we instantly lose first map, or we're losing like 7-0. Like we've been fairly mentally resilient, like clawing back from like deep holes, like not giving up. Um, people, I'm not saying people aren't like tilting a bit.
Oh, it
People are definitely
happens.
like upset in moments, like frustrated, but like there's been very few, if ever, like people giving up or like not seeing like the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you always have a chance to win.
For sure.
Like if you win you go down 10-2, you win the next pistol, it's like 10-5, and then
Yeah.
other team starts choking, and then I think that's where our strength lies at the moment, is we're pretty mentally resilient.
And that's hard to achieve. I mean, even just playing like competitive, or premier, sorry. Um, it could be like you lose the half and it's 3-9. Like you have 3 wins against their 9. And it's just like, you could just go, okay, fuck it, let's just get out of this match as soon as we can. But you win a pistol and the next 2 rounds after that, like you're back in the game, So the whole part, like, obviously, you have to be skilled to play Counter-Strike, but, like, you have to have the mental, like, it's so important, and, like, sometimes, I don't know, I look at a team like G2, like, you see them kinda tilt a little bit, but they're not, like, completely given up. Like, there's some teams that you can just see, like, I think, I forget who it was recently, but BC Game was playing somebody on, I think it was Overpass, and, like, you kinda see Simple kinda tilting a little bit, and, once you get into the point where you're, like, completely checked out mentally, it's just game over. That's super bad for a team, super unhealthy for sure.
Well, it's probably one of those things where like I think Blade said in an interview, it's like you need certain type of people to play with Simple, because like
Yeah.
the thing I mean, I'm not I don't know this for sure, but it's like even though Simple may be toxic in how he like comes across, it's like at least I mean I'll speak about in the past when he was like very active and still at the top. It's like the things he's probably complaining about or being toxic about, he's probably like right about, you know. Like he's genuinely just trying to like help the situation and like make it so people aren't like making mistakes. He probably just comes across in a
Just,
poor way. And
yeah.
then you just need like you need the type of people around Simple to like be able to handle that and understand that like he's not trying to be personal towards you. He's just genuinely like just wants to win. But it's very hard for a lot of people to like look
Yeah.
past that, right? Like if you're getting like absolutely eviscerated by one of your teammates and they're being like fairly mean or toxic to you, there's not like that many players I've worked with that can like handle looking past it as like this guy is saying this all in good faith, you know.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, I mean, especially if you're like putting somebody like that with a bunch of young people or a bunch of people who are like introverted and like don't handle like conflict very well, then yeah, it's generally gonna be a net negative for the team
Yeah.
overall, and it's gonna make people play worse around you. At least from my experience.
Absolutely. I think everybody can agree to that, you know. So another thing I wanted to talk about too is, getting eliminated from a major. I wouldn't obviously know the first thing about it, but I'm sure it's not an easy, it comes back to the mental part of it again. Mentally, it's probably really defeating, but like I said, you guys were 2-0. You had a great start and everything. You guys really showed out when you were winning. Um, you kind of mentioned the issues a little bit on like how you think that things kind of started de-escalating and started going downwards for the team. How do you kind of like how do you kind of fix that in the team to avoid that next time? Like what things do you do to kind of change that?
I mean, in our scenario, it wasn't really like that possible. I mean, I think the problem with like the major where like I was playing at, I think I focused too much on trying to like I think after we went up 2-0, where it was like more so me just calling on the fly and we weren't playing like as structured, then I moved more back to like what our system was. Um, but it's like, then I think it turned it more like serious, like this is, we're trying to go deep in this event now. Like I said before, I think it just kind of shifted like the mentality of the team from like a let's just have fun and like do our thing to like let's play how we normally do and like we're printing all
Yeah.
the docs out and stuff and like I think that probably lost us our edge a little bit.
Hmm.
But again, I don't know. I mean, it's just like not an ideal situation. Like we just didn't like. Not only did I not really play with the team, but like we prioritized qualifying for Pro League with nitr0 instead of like going to Europe early.
Yeah.
So like we just literally just like showed up to the major with no prac.
And was
And
Nitro ever like was it possible that he was going to return later in the major given you guys made it further into the tournament, or were you going to be the stand-in if you guys made it to the grand final?
yeah, it was just like purely based on the birth of his child. So um, it's like there was a world where like he would have played the major if his
Okay.
child was born earlier. But yeah, it was just all based on that. Like the second the child was born, he could have potentially came for like a later stage. Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously it didn't happen.
For sure. And something I've always been curious about too is like the major sticker money. Like, obviously, this goes without saying that, people buying the capsules in game and stuff like that, it helps out the organizations a bunch. And I'd say it even helps some of the, smaller teams like really, stay afloat financially. But I've never really heard people talk about, how it actually impacts the team in a positive way. So I was wondering if you were able to speak at all about something like this on how sticker money actually helps out the organization.
Um, I mean, it's just like extra money essentially. Like,
For
um,
traveling and stuff.
yeah, just like your overhead. I mean, a lot of the money, like most money for orgs is sponsorships is generally the big one. And then now with like the club share, so like if you have a team that's placing like top 4 at every tier 1 event, like the club share adds up to like a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then if the or like it again, it depends on how the contract's structured too. Like some of these orgs might be getting 100% club share and then taking like 20% of the prize money as well, you know. So it's like they're getting prize money. So it's like if you're placing top for every event, the org is getting 20% of the prize money. They're getting full club share. And then if you make the major, both majors a year, that's just like a cherry on top at that point.
For sure.
And then if you have big sponsors as well, you have some popular names, you're doing well consistently, and then you have like some big sponsorships coming in as well. Like it's a lot of money. It's a
For
lot of
sure.
money.
And, in contrast to that, how hard do you think it would be, especially for an NA team? We saw complexities not obviously they left, I think, what, last August or something like that. No more complexity. Do you think not making majors would make it hard to have a team here in NA?
Just depends on the cost of the team, right? Like you want to like if you're an org that wants to be profitable, then you're generally going to want to pay a team based on like what the return will be to some extent. Like if I was to guess, I'd say most teams not in the top like 15, top 12 are probably losing money, especially like the European teams that like pay decent salaries and then don't make the major, and then they're also not getting tier 1 invites because the new cost that wasn't really a thing before was costs a lot of money to like go to Fragadelphia's, go to these like Roman Empyrean Cups. Like these are tournaments where nothing's covered.
Yeah.
So now the org is fronting the bill for that. So like for smaller organizations, it's like now you're paying, especially like with the major cutoff coming up soon, it's like some of these orgs are probably spending like 30 to 50 grand to go to like 3 or 4 events to try and like make the major. And then if they don't make the major, they just like lost 50 grand, on travel, like hotels, food, flights, especially like some of the Europe. That's why like Fragadelphia is pretty expensive because like I don't remember which team it was, but I think one of the teams at Fragadelphia from Europe said they spent like 20K to go to that Miami event
Wow.
because it was like during New Year, right? It's like start of the year, like expensive flights. You're flying to Miami from Europe. It's like those are expensive ass flights.
And Miami isn't cheap to begin with, so that doesn't help anything
Yeah,
either. Fuck.
yeah. And then like Ubers, you gotta like maybe rent a car to like usually like renting a car with like Enterprise is cheaper than like getting constant Ubers.
Yeah.
But it's like again, those are all costs, right? And or orgs that are like taking care of their players generally cover all of those things.
Hmm.
And then food adds up too. Like food's expensive. Like if you have 6 or 7 people there and then food's fully covered for 7 people for a full event, that's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't remember where the original question was, but yeah, I mean, I'd say the sweet spot I think most orgs are trying to get into is like you want to be like at least top 20 in the world, like minimum. And then if you're not like top 20, top 25, getting like those trickle down invites, then it's pretty tough. Then you're essentially just like hoping to like the teams that aren't in the top 25, the only teams that are probably profitable at that point are teams from like North, like the Americas region, or teams from like the Asian region who like make the major at like a lower cost
Yeah,
amount, you know?
for sure. And, right before this is the last question I got for you here. The team's schedule is absolutely stacked for the next little bit here. We got ESL Pro League Season 23 right around the corner. You guys are going to Blast Open Rotterdam, IEM Atlanta, and I think I saw that you guys are going to Blast Open in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I think you guys have a pretty full calendar.
Oh, did we get that invite?
I thought I read that
officially.
somewhere. I thought I read that.
I mean, I don't know if it's official, but like, yeah, my assumption is we should get that invite because there's an NA wildcard spot, and Passion and M80 can't pass us at this point. So, yeah, we should get the. That's the Fort Worth event, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, we should get that invite as well.
Okay, because I'll be there. I'd love to get a beer with you guys, but um, I'm just curious to
For sure.
know like what is NRG prepared to do to keep us NA people really happy to look forward to seeing more NRG ass kicking in the server. What do you guys got playing?
I mean, I think the big thing is that obviously Energy is new ownership, but at least like the strategy is that like we want to stay like as the NA team. We want to be the best NA team, forever going forward, and that's like the main priority. So, Energy is at this current time like committed to, staying in the NA region. Um, we're not gonna kind of be like in between, kind of like what happened on Liquid. Like we're gonna stay NA and support the region and do our best to keep it afloat. Because like even though NA has struggled in recent times, like I'd say it is brighter than it was a year or two ago. I
Absolutely.
think I think there's more teams that are doing like slightly more damage. Uh, but again, like I mean, I don't even need to go into like the issues NA has. I mean, all the NA players know it's like mainly just a lot of people like don't like playing with each other, and there's like a bunch of egos and
A lot of
a
toxicity.
lot of. So it just seems like every NA player is like a history with another NA player, and I think, at least from what I've heard with a lot of teams' issues in NA, it's like a lot of these players could just, if everyone in the region just like was a little bit better at like problem solving and like making amends for like past issues with each other, and people also like, I think another issue a lot of NA players have is there's like zero accountability for like anyone's actions. Like a lot of the times players in NA get cut. Again, I'm just speaking from what I hear,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like a lot of the time NA players get like replaced. It's like never their fault they were replaced. It's always like, oh, it was this guy's fault. It was this guy's fault bringing me down. Blah
Just
blah.
pointing the finger.
It's like, man, if your team cuts you, it's like they made essentially a unanimous choice to replace you. It's like, even if not everything was your fault, it's like something has to be your fault. Like you have to look within and be like, okay, like yeah, I'm a shitty teammate, or like yeah, I'm not like doing this correctly. Like I think that's something that if every NA player started to do more and there was like a bit less ego, more like, yeah, I fucked up. I think the region would have a good chance of like having a bunch of good players and a bunch of good teams. It's just like, I mean, NA is just like toxic. It just
That's
is. I
it.
mean, it always kind of has been. It's just like, just lack of problem solving, lack of, just trying to like be good teammates with each other. And I get it. There are some like hard personalities to work with, and there probably are some people in NA that like, I don't want to say like unfixable, but there's definitely some people where it's like their personalities are just like too much to deal with
Yeah.
for it to be like worth it long term. But
Makes me think
um
about Mo again, like just go back and watch like old Mo Shroud Summit pugs from back in the day, dude. Mo was like, how do you play with a guy like that, bro? It must be so hard. It's never his
yeah,
fault.
but it's just like, even like when we picked up Carson, for example, it's like Carson has a pretty bad like reputation with a lot of people. But it's like when I was able to have like real conversations with him and talk about like, what he wants to do and stuff, and like his ambitions, goals, whatever, it's like if Carson actually like puts his mind to it and like he turns into like mature mode, then Carson is like a valuable piece to a team. right? That's another thing too, is a lot of these players, they're in like they're in friend groups, right? Where they like, rage bait each other constantly, and like they're not like they're not like really good influences on each other to like, improve as a
Yeah.
person.
Just dudes being
Um
dudes, shit talking,
yeah, it's like it's
banter.
fun, of course it's fun, you're shit talking, bantering, like having a good time, but um the problem is like those friend groups a lot of the time like stay together and they make teams together, but then like when is it serious time? When is it like let's fix our issues time?
Yeah.
And um I think that's something that whole because like man, I watch some of these games, like there's a lot of players on Marsborn where it's like that guy if he's like dialed in and like they're locked in and having a good day and blah blah blah, like they're pretty good player. Like even on Voca, like there's tons of moments from like players on their team where I didn't really like expect too much, but then I watch them play and I'm like, okay, that's like pretty impressive. Like there's glimpses from all these like players in NA. It's just like a lot of like personality issues mixed with like inconsistency and um yeah. I hope one day it somehow gets a bit more consistent and better. And but it even goes back to the conversation we had earlier. It's like there's not like that many people left in NA to like lead these people.
Yeah.
Like they're even just like kind of learning on their own in a way. Like you know, even like Marsborn doesn't have like a guy in that team that's been in the scene for 10, 15 years and like
Like a veteran.
yeah, like won a bunch of things, like or won like just one trophy or like made a few playoffs at tier 1 events. Like that experience can go a long way.
For sure.
um and that's like this, it's not even their fault, it's just like the cycle NA's been for like over a decade. It's like generally when the vets quit, they're like gone for good, or like Valorant didn't help, right? So Valorant took a lot of those like personalities and people.
Yeah.
um And then yeah, obviously when you get older, money's an issue. So like it's not really NA orgs to like pay someone to do that, and then that's another issue as well. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, dude, that was the last question I had for you. For the outro, I usually like to just shine the spotlight over to the guests. So if there's any final words you have, any shout outs, any advice for people listening, whatever you might want to say to end things, the floor is yours. Have at her.
Not too much. Just like thank you to any fans we have. Thank you to NRG for supporting us, and we will do our best to continue the progression we're making and not backtrack.
Alrighty, guys, and that will do it for today's episode. Shout out to daps, shout out to NRG. I mean, these guys are keeping NA alive, and they're making a lot of progress. I mean, just check their HLTV, the development ranking in the past year, straight all the way up. So we love to see it, and show some love to NRG, man. It's mandatory if you're in NA. You got to. Well, that's it for today. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at K Bizzy CS or at HalftimeCS, and definitely go check out the links in the description for my other platforms and for NRG and daps' platforms as well. We will catch you guys on the next episode next Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. You guys have a great weekend and a great rest of your Friday. Till next time.